Alright, hopefully you've been able to put the shaft through the bearing blocks, the 3 bearing blocks, and through these gearings, and it takes a little trick to get the bolts through the holes, because you got to line up the hole through the gearing and into the main shaft. And what I've come to do over the past is take a screwdriver, a small tip, and try to line up the hole to get the bearing get the holes lined up through the shaft to get the bolt through there. It's tricky, but if you wiggle it around enough, you should be able to get enough clearance to get the bolt through. And then I take the Allen on one side and pliers on the other side to tighten it all down. You've got, actually, this helicopter has 2 Jesus bolts. You've always heard people crash and says, "Oh, my Jesus bolt broke," but I haven't had that happen on these. At least I don't know anyone that has, because it's got 2 actually holding the shaft all together. So you should have a free running system here, and nice auto rotation with your rear assembly back here. So the next step is installing our engine, and these will take anywhere from 50s all the way up to 91s. Of course, you've got to change stuff out if you go up above from 61 on up. Well, what guys, this is a Hyper 50 that I've had in here. There is a brass collet that goes around the shaft on these, and then you'll have to put your clutch assembly in. Now, some guys have used piston locking tools to do it. I've never done that. They say, you know, with a 50 you got to use different methods. Well, some people I've seen online is use something similar to this with a cutout to match your holes here, and have where you can have this lined up and be able to screw your bolts in here and have that center hole available to tighten down your nut in there. There's different ways of doing it. That's the way I used. Found a special tool. You can make your own out of a spatula and be able to tighten that down. That way you're not having to hold on to the fan to try to tighten that down. It takes quite a bit of torque to get that nut in there. The other part is installing this your carburetor adjustment here for your servo, and then we'll mount that. So I'm going to make sure once you get this back on, this is your clutch on here, and get those holes lined up, and blue Loctite these down into the top of the clutch there. So I'm going to do that, mount the engine here, and we'll come back. Okay, we went ahead and got the engine mounted. Of course, I forgot to tell you, you need to put the engine mount around the engine, which you'll find some bolts that go in here. It shows in step 8.1 where these go, with little lock nuts on here, little lock washers I should say, on here to get that on there. Keep in mind this is a rebuild, so of course mine's been already put together, and this one also has a governor that I've already installed. I made this bracket myself, but you can see in step 8.3 how a governor can be installed in these things. And there's little magnets that come with the, I believe they come with the governor, that you have to make sure you have one facing down north and another magnet on the other side facing south. So when it goes around, only one triggers the sensor on the governor. The only time you really need a governor is if you're really doing hardcore 3D that's putting a big load on the motor. I could be wrong on that, but that's basically what you install the governors for. For starting beginners, you probably won't need the governor, but once you get advanced, you'll want to get that governor on there. Pretty much the rest of step 8 is installing the governor and the fuel system. Now what I'm going to show you closely is where the when you insert the engine motor, leave these loosely until you get your clutch assembly almost pretty flush, almost flush with the actual clutch itself. So there's maybe a 1 millimeter gap showing on the bottom of the clutch where that rolls freely. So when you spin that around, your whole motor is in and out. So you want a smooth spinning engine up here, and make sure everything's functioning properly. And one other thing you guys might have noticed that I put a JB Weld around my support canopy mounts since the last video. I did that.